it's not as great. It'll brighten up here and just say, "Hey, whoa, we're here." It's not as great as far as what we were wanting to do, Obrine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Justin, it's not as awesome, but it's getting there. We need a camera. It's just that simple.
It is true.
We do have pedals for guitars, though.
That's all that matters.
Pedals because you can do so much with the pedals. We should be sponsored. You know what? We got to be sponsored. Nobody's here yet, though, and that's because Carolyn isn't sharing it on 50 different platforms. So normally she's like, "Oh, hey, join us live." And see, so y'all talk. I'm going to be Carolyn. Oh, there's two people. That's probably Carolyn and Crystal.
Hello.
That's Carolyn and Crystal.
It's Carolyn and Crystal. Comment.
All right.
4. Nice.
Hey, 4 people. All right. And it's like us 3. Another person.
Let's go ahead and,
I'm going to go ahead. Hey, Junior Foreman, what's up, man? Listen, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my very special, awesome guest tonight from James Madison University. First, Justin Thornton back here. We've been friends a long time. And, of course, we've got Obrine. Carolyn says I say your name wrong every time, and we've known each other for a long time. But I always say Tamarine, and I don't know why.
Tamarine.
It's Tamarone, right?
Tamon.
Why do I want to put an R in there? I always want to add it. She's like, "You're an idiot." I was like, "I'm sorry. You're right."
There is some actress. Her, I think first or last name is Tamron or something.
That's
from like Disney.
I'm going to blame that instead of my lack of knowledge. These guys are some of the best. Hey, Toby, Kilted Adventure. These guys are some of the best musicians I've ever met in my life. Trumpet. Justin.
Nice to meet you.
Justin is one of the best trumpet players in the nation and one of my favorite trumpet players of all time. And we're fortunate enough to have him at Ray of Hope. We're so grateful. Met Obrine. Obrine plays everything. He plays everything. I mean, in heaven, they're going to be like, "What do you want to play?" He's going to be like, "Whatever. Give me something. So I'm excited and thankful to have these two guys on there tonight. Though we're not talking about music, even though we could.
We'll see how
we could because we jam at the church. I'm looking forward to jamming. Jamming is fun.
That's the best.
But that's not what we're talking about,
right?
Because we have business to discuss tonight with all 4 people who are in here. Probably again, Crystal, Carolyn, Toby,
the 2 on the
and Mom. Probably Mom's in here. It's like, I'm gonna support my baby. And she's on the. I love my mom, and if she gets in here, we'll just make fun of Elvis and get the whole chat room.
Oh, not again.
It's good. Always good to see Toby in here. Love you to death. Got to talk to Toby on the phone today. Junior Foreman. He says good evening, and he called me a professional YouTuber.
You are.
Boom.
You are.
Boom, young people.
Nice.
Young people. I am young like you.
Yes.
But we are talking about something that might be. It was an abrupt ending to a moment.
It's all right.
We are talking about something near and dear to our hearts, and that is the state of the Disney universe. By the way, hello, welcome, Billy at Strong's Adventure. Yes, I know the names of these people. That is insane. I do. I've not finished my video yet. This guy has a cooking channel. Strong's Adventure has a cooking channel. And a kilted adventurer, he is exactly what he says he is. He's a kilted adventurer. He wears a kilt. I've seen him wear it, and I have hiked with him while wearing it.
Nice.
Miss B in the house in Indianapolis. Good to see you tonight. Thank you so much. You guys be sure to share this because Carolyn is not here tonight. She's at a women's ministry dinner gala. DJ, what's going on? I've got to write you an email right after this event or whatever. It's been a crazy day, so I got an email because DJ emailed me last night. We're doing the email thing. I got to email him back, and so yeah. Anyway, again, folks, this is Obrine. This is Justin, and we are talking about something very serious, very near and dear to my heart. This is serious. This is when you need OBS to do the background music. Yeah, it needs background music right now. All pre-mixed. It really does. But since we don't have background music, we need to talk about the state of the Disney universe. And I'm referring to specifically Marvel. You know who you are. And Star Wars. Now, if it were just me talking, I know what you would say because the average age of our viewer is like 87, 88. I thought it was funny. Okay. Tough crowd. But we are aged on this channel. We tend to be a little older on this. But I've got young people that watch occasionally, usually these guys when I pay them. And that isn't that often, but it happens. But how do you feel? We'll start with Brandon, go to Justin. How do you feel about this current state? We'll start with Star Wars.
Spoiler alert. I haven't watched Star Wars.
What? How is it, which I already knew that, but how is it, I'm going to be off camera for just a few moments here. How is it that you've never watched Star Wars. How is that?
See, that's a question I get a lot, especially like
I'm disappointed.
considering I was a computer science major before. Literally everyone in the major has watched Star Wars and still watches it. So
Yeah.
it was like it just has never appealed to me, which is weird. Very unpopular.
But you love
opinion.
physics.
That is
talked.
true.
You
I
gotta
literally
watch it
took a
already.
physics test like 2 hours ago.
And the music, Obrine. You
The
had to listen
music,
to
you got
John
John Williams.
Oh my
man.
god.
Come on. What's wrong with
That
you,
is-
Obrine?
That.
That is- I honestly
Okay.
don't know.
What do I got to do to get you to watch Star Wars? Have you tried? Have
Gotta
you
put
sat
it on.
down? A paycheck? I've got to pay you. I've got to pay you. Miss B said 3 minutes of Bigfoot. What happened? Oh, I get your humor, Miss B. Funny. I like it, though. I like it. We are not a cooking channel, Bill. We just cook when we can adventure. I understand. Most of the videos that I see, Billy, you're cooking, so I apologize. But I'm going to keep calling you a cooking channel compared to mine. And that's something I say in my other video that I'm making right now. I didn't get it done today. I wish I had it. But I say this is the best cooking, non-cooking channel, talking about your channel on YouTube. You know, it's the cooking channel that isn't really a cooking channel on YouTube. So, all right. So you're not into the Star Wars, but are you into Marvel?
Oh, definitely.
You're definitely into
Most
Marvel.
definitely.
Nice.
What is it about Marvel that you liked?
The part of Marvel I've really enjoyed was mainly Avengers. Like, I think just the concept behind like having superheroes, even though it's very far fetched and not realistic, but like imagine a world with actual superheroes. Like imagine Iron Man was real. Side note: Iron Man is my favorite Avenger. But
Iron Man's your favorite Avenger. Okay, so Iron Man is your favorite Avenger.
Interesting.
So now I've got to ask Justin. Justin, you kept up with the Marvel Universe. Why do you like the Marvel Universe as it started by Iron Man? And what is it that you see about it that, because you're young, you're a young man.
Yeah.
You're in your early 20s.
Well, I think like people our age, like we see ourselves in the characters and their lives.
But
like,
they're not in their 20s.
well, I know, but like it's interesting because they could just go the route like completely comic books accurate, but they brought the real world into it and like actual story arcs that develop. And one thing that I really like about it is all of the movies are connected.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like it's just like everything is connected, and it's just like every movie you're like, okay, I know what's happening.
Mhm.
But on the other, like the flip side of that, if you miss like a movie or two, you can't see the next one without watching them because you're like, I don't know what's happening. Which
definitely.
yeah, but with all the TV shows and everything now, it's pretty cool.
Well, you
Pretty
know what
cool.
else is connected? Soap operas.
And
We
Star
had
Wars.
soap operas when I was a kid, but usually just women watched them. So what makes Marvel Comics, what makes the Disney version of these, what makes it different than a soap opera?
That's a good
That's
question.
a really good question.
That's a really good question.
I would say maybe because it's pretty modernized.
That's
but,
about it.
But then again, at that time, soap operas were considered the modern. So
Action? I don't know. The action.
Yes.
the
You
sci-fi.
got action? Because in a soap opera, the only action is when
Yeah.
Bobby cheats on Linda, and it's like, oh my God, and then
Yeah.
Linda's dying from some mysterious disease. And
mhm.
this is it's very different. It's very different. You have the superhero, and they're cliffhangers, which go all the way back to the 20s and 30s, the Flash Gordon era,
Yeah.
where you would watch serials, they called them, where one would end, but it didn't really end. It was a cliffhanger. You'd come back the next Saturday and watch that one again. And so very similar to that, actually going back to the old cinema, the old style of cinema. However, everybody that's watched Endgame, everybody that's watched this awesome, because I admit it was one of the greatest, I guess, franchises that we've ever seen, of so many people going to the theater and just falling in love with this.
Mhm.
I remember watching the beginning of Endgame, the beginning. You've got the scene where they go kill Thanos, which you're not really expecting to be the beginning, first of all.
Mhm.
And then that song, that old song that comes on about how depressing and terrible it is. And it starts out so bleak,
Yeah.
so awful, which makes it even better. The end makes it even better,
Oh, yeah.
right? So you have all of this, how many, 22 movies, 24 movies?
At least,
Something
yeah.
like
In a 12-year time
40s.
period, I think, 10 to 12-year time period, you have all these different movies. Why is it? Well, let me ask it this way. Obrine, how do you feel about the new, I guess they call it Phase 4?
As in the Disney Plus, the versions of Marvel, well, the short TV shows on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
See, I have this theory where it's like they use the TV shows to make a connection to some big movie they're gonna release at some
Oh, yeah.
point. Especially with like WandaVision. Like where How? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, I didn't like Wanda. I didn't like Wanda enough to have her own series either. I mean, it was like she was okay.
Yeah,
she was okay. It was, but it was like you're gonna make a whole series of this. Like, I don't know.
Missed opportunity.
It's a little too far for too fanciful for me. Okay, and you and I talked about this. Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. Now you have Loki, which was sort of low key.
Very low key.
I never even watched that one.
Low key. It was just kind of the time travel kind of thing, timelines and stuff, but. It's hard for me to buy into Thor's character anyway. I mean, Ragnarok was good, but Thor, Loki, that whole thing is just kind of. But question, Hawkeye, what do you think?
I love it. I think so far it's been the most entertaining out of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's Hawkeye, WandaVision, maybe Loki, and then what's the other one? There was one more they did.
There's Falcon Winter Soldier. Did
you like that one?
No.
It was stupid.
That is
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, probably the worst ever. Let me catch up here in the comments. Strong's Adventure says, hey, Bill, you never told us what you cooked. Okay, so it's pot roast, but Dutch oven-wise. It's cut up into pieces, but you're going to see it tomorrow. And it was amazing. It was one of the best dishes we've had in a while. So, but I can't tell too much because that's for tomorrow. Strong's Adventure says, leave it to Bill to go from Marvel to soap opera. Because it is a soap opera. It's like a soap opera for kids and middle-aged men. So whatever. Yeah, let me see. Make sure we're not making sure I didn't miss anything. Toby says, were these guys on your JMU Madison hiking video? Yes, indeed. Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm. We had a great time. Boy, that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we wanted to do that this fall, but the schedule just did not allow for it. No time. Crazy schedule this fall. It'll probably be something that we do in the winter. That's what we're hoping to do is the wintertime camp out thing. That's what we're trying to make happen, this wintertime camping trip. We don't know how to make it happen, but we're trying to make it happen. Billy McDaniel and I are working hard. Yeah. I'm surprised Billy McDaniel is not here. Yeah. That would have been awesome for him to be. Yeah. He might be in here later. You never know. So you got Marvel. Hawkeye is out with this young lady who played on True Grit, because I know many of you guys watched True Grit. She played on True Grit many years ago. She wasn't a woman. She was very young. She was a kid. Yeah. But she was amazing. Got nominated for an Academy Award. And so the star of Hawkeye, this lady, I remember watching her on True Grit, and she was amazing. I thought, who is this young lady? Is she just gonna, flashbang? Child actor, and then they get older, ugly, fat, whatever, and then they fizzle into nothing. This young lady is phenomenal.
She's great,
and so she kind of carries it. Because let's just face it. Hawkeye's boring.
Yeah, that's kind of the premise of the show.
Superhero, and they run with it. Yeah, they run with the fact that Hawkeye's not really a superhero. Yeah, unless you want to call paid assassins a superhero.
That's another question.
Because you have these little things that you don't think about.
Yeah.
Because you have the comic book version of these people, not realizing these comic books, some of them started in the Cold War and before. Mm-hmm. So there's things that you celebrated then that maybe aren't celebrated as much now. Mm-hmm. And so it's just kind of weird. It's like Hawkeye's a paid assassin. And then he becomes an Avenger. Then the snap happens. And what does he go back to do? Assassin. Yeah. He goes back to being a really good assassin.
Really good, yeah.
And now he's hung up his assassin cape once again, which is how all of the craziness ensues in the show. Baker says, sometimes cooking is an adventure. Just polish off a bowl of deer chili. True Grit, both Dukes and Bridges. There you go. There you go. We have canned deer meat, and somebody canned some deer meat for us a few years ago. It's pretty good.
Sounds good.
You have to capture the deer with a trap. No, I'm just I haven't been able to go hunting. Do either of you hunt?
No, I want to though. Really bad.
I've never even shot a gun in my life.
I only hunt Bigfoot and aliens. So it's been a depressing time. Yeah. It's been a really depressing time. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
I believe in the concept of Bigfoot, which technically yes, but
the concept of Bigfoot.
What is the concept of Bigfoot?
The thing is, the science behind it doesn't really make sense, because I am a very
he's tall and he's got big feet. I don't know.
He's a geology major for all you know there. So.
There's that too, which I find very hysterical.
You've gone into geology.
You like rocks.
We have not talked since you made this decision.
That is true.
Rock and roll. Kill me. Justin, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I don't know. That's the thing. Is I see all the videos online, and you could fake those, but I don't think I do. Until I see one for myself, it's just I don't know. What do you think, Pastor?
And I got to be honest. I'm glad you both said no. because I've been in the woods my whole life. Never seen a Bigfoot. Now, the running joke here, of course, I'll have Bigfoot in titles and do the green screen stuff or whatever. But no, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't put people down who do.
Mm-hmm.
People have some very serious convictions over. I just, I have a friend of mine who does come on here occasionally. He's an acquaintance of mine. I don't mean to cut your face off there. I'm sorry. You have to understand what we tried. Let me just before we signed on, we tried for like an hour, literally, to rig something to where we could have 2 cameras going, and it didn't work. So we're stuck doing this, but that's okay. That's okay. We're fine. Juan Thomas, I didn't think you were going to be in here tonight. Welcome, but now I remember the dates that you were sharing with me. Good to see you in here. Bigfoot lives in southern Washington State. Southern Washington State. So see, Matt Sieber, he's the head of East Tennessee Bigfoot. They got a website. I mean, and he's been all over. He does lectures, and I did a video with him when I first started the YouTube channel. This guy seriously believes, man. And he's a friend. Like, he's a Christian guy. He's a nice guy too. Very friendly guy. Still Facebook friends with him. I haven't seen him in last year on Vlogmas or anything. But so I don't put people down. I don't believe in intelligent life in the universe either. So I'm one of those. Yeah. I'm like. Some of that conflicts, not the Bigfoot necessarily, because there are things that we have found in the woods, the white deer in Vietnam, for instance, that we said that no longer exists. Turns out it does. And there's several things in the ocean that we said that doesn't exist. Turns out it does. Yeah. Bigfoot is a little harder for me because now, especially, we got drones. You can be anywhere in the woods you want to. I was deer hunting a few years ago, and I hear, and I look up, and there it is. Somebody. Crazy. So I don't see how it's possible. My dad was telling me about feral people. Have you heard about this? Feral people in southeast Tennessee, that in the Smoky Mountains, that they've been separated from all of humanity, and they're wild in the Smoky Mountains. And I'm like, bull! I've been all over the Smoky Mountains. You can't hide from anybody in the Smoky Mountains. And this has been mainly debunked by locals there who have YouTube channels and whatnot that are like, folks, I live down the road from where they're talking about this happening. I hike there all the time. There were no feral people there. Wow. But that doesn't keep conspiracy theories and whatnot from happening. But I don't believe in intelligent life. I don't believe in any life out in the galaxy. I don't believe in anything. I think the universe is sterile. I think if there were life elsewhere, it would be on the moon. It would be on. And I'm not saying we won't find a virus or some type of bacterium, but it's going to be from here. Yeah. In other words, it'll be something that's blasted from here out. I think life is that special and that unique.
I agree.
And the reason why my spiritual beliefs, my biblical beliefs, they said, well, God didn't have to tell us. No, but he did tell us how special we are. Mm-hmm. And so much, if God gave his life for the universe, he would say that. Now, here's what's funny, though. I will say this. The word world in Greek is cosmos. So that's kind of interesting. It's cosmos. COSMOS. So it's kind of an interesting thought. Wow. But I don't believe in intelligent life or even simple life. Like I said, other than if it's a bacteria on the moon or a virus at Mars that at one point you may have had a meteorite or meteor that's hit. Is it meteorite or meteor? I always get too confused. Meteor hits, slams into the earth, launches something into space because of the impact, and then it freezes. Thousands of years later, it shows up, it falls to Mars, and bam, we found a virus. And so we found bacteria. It's like, no, it's not really from here, though.
Right.
And I think that's what will end up happening. I'm going to make everybody mad tonight.
See, I never thought of the whole bacteria thing like that. Because I always thought of it as like, though like life is on Earth, but there's something else out there. I never thought of it as like the whole meteor thing. What that actually makes sense. Right. Now that I think of it.
You look at it because a meteorite here or meteor here.
I think it's meteorite after it crosses the atmosphere.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
These college boys.
I wouldn't know. Geology major.
Bigfoot, according to Billy at Strong's Adventure, says Bigfoot lives in Falk, Arkansas. And I used to see him every time we drove through that town. He was always standing outside the tire shop. They called him Sasquatch. All manners of Bigfoot can be called different names. Sasquatch, the Yeti, if you will.
Oh, I've heard that one too.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there isn't. There are hairy people. And I've seen hairy people. Junior Foreman says, feral people, hardy, har. Kills Adventure says, meteorite if it lands. If it is right here, mnemonic device.
Meteor right here.
Oh, meteor right here. Okay, mnemonic device. I get it, kind of.
I get it.
Okay, good. Explain it. Break it down in 30 words or less.
Meteor right here, as in It is right here. You can see it right here.
Toby, that's why they pay him the big bucks.
That's why I'm paying the big bucks.
That's why he's a genius. He's a genius. Toby's a good friend of mine. Known Toby for almost 20 years. Very good guy. He's actually been to the church here a couple times.
Awesome.
Yeah, forget about it. He was here last summer. Killed Adventure says that's a way to remember the difference.
Yeah.
It is a good way. Unfortunately, I'll forget what you probably said.
I'll remember
by tomorrow, probably. But yeah, I mean, and I think what makes, going back to Marvel movies, I think what makes Marvel movies so much fun is that we can suspend disbelief. Let's say it's a Tony Stark. We want those inventions. We want those things. And we live in a time where so many things seem possible.
Yeah.
And you guys have really grown up in a time where everything is possible. I mean, my goodness, you guys have grown up in a time where, it's unbelievable because you have almost as fast as the speed of light communication with people around the world. You guys don't know what it's like to go into a house where somebody's, if you walk into a house and somebody's watching a screen in black and white, they're like being, noir. Avant-garde,
Not gonna lie, when what was it? WandaVision came out with the first black and white episode. I did not watch the first episode.
Oh, but that's great.
I did not watch
I watched it. I'm like, this is boring.
Because you have to understand why. You're going back to the nostalgia of early television. I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke Show and those shows. The origins of because everything you watch on TV now is really just a reconstituted version of what's already been. There's nothing new under the sun, right? And so that it was supposed to be a throwback. And then, of course, you go through the years as things go into color. But you guys don't know what it's like do you even have a memory of when there was no internet?
No.
Because since you've been alive, there's always been an internet.
True. That's crazy.
Fascinating.
Wow.
It's fascinating,
See, in my case, not being born in the U.S., that changes it.
Tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Cameroon, which is on the west side of Africa.
West side? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think up till I was 12, I had never used the internet.
Wow.
Not a single time until I moved to the U.S. So
it's different for me, yeah.
But here's what's awesome. You got your American citizenship.
Last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah,
last summer?
Oh.
It was great. He got his American citizenship. We threw him a big party. And I'm so proud of you for that. It's a big accomplishment. People don't realize that's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy.
No. Literally takes like 5 years of being in the U.S. Without leaving.
There,
first off, and then like another year to do all the documents and all of that.
Test and all that too.
It's not easy at all. It's very difficult. So we're very proud of you for that. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Because they don't know, and so I love this. Let's see, Juan Thomas. Yep, I have a podcast from my grandma that shows one as big as Vermont, West Virginia. I don't know what he's saying. Oh, wait a minute. I need to back up.
Big as a VW.
Have you ever seen a jackalope? Jackalopes are not real, Juan. Or are they?
No.
A jackalope is like a rabbit with horns. But they're not real.
I've ever seen
Interesting concept.
Strong's Adventure says, life started on Mars. I saw Total Recall. Great movie.
Has to be true.
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't lie.
Never.
The Killed Adventure says, Juan Thomas, that is a rare creature. Also, unicorns live in Scotland before the flood. Jackalopes live in Arizona. And there used to be a steakhouse called Shenandoah or something. I don't remember, but it wasn't in the Shenandoah Valley. It was over in Kentucky. No, it was called Shiloh. Shiloh, Shenandoah. Oh. There's a in there somewhere. Anyway, and they used to have all these like stuffed rabbits, and they'd glued like horns to their head.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know which is cooler, the stuffed rabbit or the horns glued to their head. It's like this poor rabbit has not only been shot and stuff, but we're gonna glue horns to its head. It's like really sad.
Oh, it wasn't like a stuffed animal, as in like whatchamacallit.
No, dude, it wasn't. It was an animal, and then it died. And then they said, yeah,
I thought like the kids' toys, like
no.
Okay.
No, but luckily rabbit wasn't on the menu, so that's always good. It's always good. It's always good. That way you're not even looking at it right while you're eating. It's always better. I have a postcard from my grandma that shows one. And then Baker says, congratulations on the citizenship. Excellent.
Thank you.
And so does Billy Strong's Adventures. Congratulations on getting your citizenship. These guys work so hard at the church. They do unbelievable work and everything. And I'm very grateful. Carolyn's grateful as well.
Thank you.
They are amazing. We have a great student ministry at Ray of Hope. We're very proud of that and what God's done for us there. These guys are some of the best musicians I've ever been around, period. I'm talking about anywhere. Nashville, you name it. These guys are amazing. And they're called and they give their time, and everybody talks about how bad young people are. Oh, young people are bad. They're bad. And my experience is that actually young people, you give them a chance and you love them and you give them an opportunity. They're wonderful. And these guys are proof on that. I'm not saying it's like adults, anybody else, or grown-ups or older people. You got your good eggs, your bad eggs, and all that other stuff. But I'm telling you, we got a good group here at Ray of Hope. Billy says, you need to take those boys hunting for snipe. They taste great in a Dutch oven.
The Dutch oven.
The Dutch oven.
The Dutch oven, which is, by the way, it's there on the stove if you see it. And that's what we used last night to cook with. If you notice, that is the Dutch oven. And I've actually got a video coming out where I cooked something with it.
Nice.
But it was
nice.
Well, you say that now, watch the video. It turned out wonderful. But I didn't exactly save the measurements or anything else like that. Toby says it best. This generation is amazing. I think this is one of the greatest generations that we've ever had. Because these guys, they're hungry, they're spiritual, they know what's in front of them, they know how difficult the task is ahead, and yet they're embracing it. And you're a geology major, which is crazy, because I make fun of geology all the time. You know that, right?
That is very true.
I make fun of geology on a daily basis on this channel. But I love you, though. I love you. I got to talk you out of this, but I don't know how yet. But we'll talk. Yeah. Justin, you're a major.
Music education.
Back to geology. Music education, geology. Listen, both of you guys are going to find work wherever you go. You're going to be awesome because your work ethic determines everything. But now let's talk about why we get here. Bigfoot and aliens. Of course, that's why. What do they call it? Cryptozoology.
Yep.
Which is basically a scientific sounding word to mean believing in made up stuff. Bigfoot, aliens, UFOs. Why do you think, we'll start, Justin, why do you think so many people believe in UFOs, for example?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't thought about why people believe in them. That's a good question.
See, I just think UFOs are it could literally just be a drone. Anything that the government doesn't know that is happening is classified as a UFO.
About conspiracies, yeah.
Exactly.
It's a UFO.
It could just be someone flying their private helicopter without getting the what is it? Is it FCC? And FAA without having them. They don't know about it. That's a UFO.
People see strange things in the sky.
That is also true.
It does, you're driving around the Blue Ridge Parkway at night because it's dark up there. It's dark.
Oh yeah,
scary. And then you're stargazing a little bit, and all of a sudden, maybe you've never seen you've never noticed. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not from the country at all. You don't know. You've never looked up at the night sky to do any stargazing, and you're missing out. And so as you're looking up into the night sky to do some stargazing, you say, you know what? It's a beautiful night, and all of a sudden you see a shooting star, and you realize that one shooting star burns differently than another. Yeah, they have different colors.
Oh yeah,
and there's a reason for that. And it's really cool. It's because one, the composition is one thing, and one, the composition another. It's just a little chemistry, right? But you don't know that. You don't know anything about chemistry, we'll say. You don't know anything about any of that stuff, but you've never seen it. And then boom, you do a call and, hey, I've seen something in space. It couldn't have been a shooting star because you've seen shooting stars and they don't look like this. And or it's either that sometimes, or people, again, in the night sky, they see something going across the horizon. They don't know how fast satellites travel. Satellites are fast, and you can see satellites with the naked eye without any help, especially lower ones. And here soon, we're going to be able to see Elon Musk's satellites.
Really?
Yeah, because he's launching thousands of these little satellites. But when they group up together, you're going to be able to see them in certain situations, like not as a satellite, like a big glowing thing. It'll be more like a gas probably in the air. It won't be too much longer. That's my prediction.
That's awesome.
Take that
Musk is doing a lot. He's doing the most.
He is.
Baker said, I took my grandpa. My grandpa took me snipe hunting, and he never came back. It happens. It happens, my man. Kills Adventure says, are we talking about crypt now? We are talking about crypt now. Strong's Adventure says,
talking about cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency? All right, who's in the cryptocurrency game?
Not me.
Anybody in the chat room in cryptocurrency? Anybody in the chat room at all in cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all of that.
Bitcoin, all that. No.
Nope.
Nobody's in any of that.
I don't trust
it.
Me either. I like a bank that is, in a country that has an army. You heard it first here. If you're into cryptocurrency, I'm not putting you down. So please just hear me out on this, because it's nice to know that America, if somebody tries to steal all of our money in America, like Dr. Evil, Gonna steal all the America's money, and he tries to do something. We have an army to go. We're gonna bomb you now and take him out. Whereas cryptocurrency, it's like the government's not involved. No, I want the government to be a little involved, not way involved. I'm a laissez-faire kind of guy when it comes up. I'm a conservative in that matter. However, I really don't like the idea of it being completely independent of anybody who can help out with a tank and a jet. I mean, it's just kind of nice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Cryptocurrency sounds a little too much like a pyramid, even though it's not a pyramid scheme, but just a little bit too much gimmicky. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Billy says I turn all my money into cast iron, and by cast iron he means the Dutch oven. That's what he means. It's right there.
Okay,
that's excellent. Trying to see if I've missed anything in here so far. Juan Thomas says snack. Junior Farm Bigfoot eats snipe for snack. But Bigfoot does. If I believed in Bigfoot, and again, it's the point that I can't. If you can give me something, grainy footage might even work if it's like grainy footage that's believable. But ever notice when I film with this thing all the time, and I have taken some amazing video of stuff and had very little time to set up. Every picture of Bigfoot is grainy and shaky. It's as if a byproduct of Bigfoot is your hands are shaky. And it's like, no, dude, if Bigfoot's out there, if you believe in Bigfoot, and you're going to tell me the one time you've got a chance to take a picture, you're only going to snap 3 seconds worth. That's it.
Yeah.
I have followed bears in the wood. I'm going to follow Bigfoot. Give me a shot. If there's a Bigfoot out there and if he's watching, or if it's a she, first of all, click that subscribe button and like button. Don't forget to leave us a comment. Don't forget it's at big. What would it be? Bigfoot at Twitter. At Bigfoot on Twitter. So social media. You guys are growing up in the shadow of social media. Yeah. Start with you again, and then I'll go to Obrine. You're growing up in the shadow of social media. What is it like?
It has good things. It has bad things. I think its intention at first was good for the good. But I think a lot of people have used it for a lot of bad things. But I think we're just so consumed with it all the time. I pull my phone up Facebook, pull my phone up Instagram, pull my phone up TikTok or whatever. And it's like consumes all of our time. And I think it's like, especially our generation, our attention span is like nothing. It's like next. We're so used to scrolling for hours and hours and hours. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting, and I'm really interested to see the effects on our eyesight over the years to see what that does. I mean,
wow, I never thought about that.
Well, you've had social media for probably, maybe 20, some form of it, like screens, maybe 20, 30 years, but the blue light and all that, I don't know the science behind that. Mr. Scientist.
I'm literally blinking continues.
I just like to see like the long-term effects on our eyesight, but I think it has good, if you use it for the right function, it has a lot of good things to do, like spreading information and connecting with people that you wouldn't be able to regardless, otherwise. But what do you think, Obrine?
Well, a little bit aside from the social media, just technology.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to sit really close to the TV and I would stay blinking like crazy. Like just because of the blue light, it messed my eyes so bad. I had to take like a whole month of zero technology, like no screens, nothing.
Wow. Dang.
But with the whole social media thing, it's definitely messing us up. Like you said, with the attention span. I can't even watch a 3-minute TikTok.
Me neither.
TikTok is supposed to have like 15-second videos.
That's what it's designed for.
Exactly. Yeah. But now they made an update that gives you the opportunity or gives creators the opportunity to post 3-minute videos.
What if they do it in like 5 parts? I'll watch the individual parts. But even if they have it in one video, I won't.
But oh my gosh. We're doomed. Never mind everything I just said. We're doomed.
No one watches the 3-minute videos at all.
It's impossible.
Like, my attention span is just no. Like sometimes even when I pick up my phone, I go on TikTok or Instagram, and then no one has posted anything. I close it, and then I catch myself literally open up that
app, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, this looks the same. Oh. And then I'll go to Instagram and I'll shut that off. Back to Instagram. Wait, what am I doing?
Exactly. Sometimes I literally close Instagram, and then the next thing I do is open up Instagram.
And then your phone. Obrine, then your phone dies. And you're like, what do I do with my life?
Picks up my laptop.
Phone's dead. Yeah, my laptop. Go on Facebook on my laptop.
Exactly.
I was just off Facebook. I didn't want to go on Facebook.
This is really bad. We need to have a long talk. I had no idea. I have to change what I'm preaching at the church right now.
A whole new series.
Obviously, on our demographics on this channel, you can tell when I post a video, if I don't change scenes between 3 to 4 seconds, if there's not a scene change of some kind, people will drop. You can tell when the drops are. There are certain things that I do where if it's too stagnant for too long. A lot of people that have been with me a while, like watching our videos for a long time, they'll make fun of certain shots, like, oh, there's the road again. They don't understand if there's not movement, people will sign off. And so sometimes you're sustaining movement while you're doing a certain voiceover,
right.
just to hope that people will stay on. And one of the things that's happened in the past year is we've lost, I want to say 4 or 5% of viewers your age. We've lost, and one of the reasons why is I'm old. Okay, is what are you going to do? I'm old. But another major reason is because our videos did become a little longer sometimes. They became a little, and so there's not a whole lot. So I wasn't going to add chapters. YouTube recommended us adding chapters. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to add chapters. I'm a creator. I don't want to add chapters. That would hurt my create. And now I've added chapters because that way.
Be honest with you, when I watch them, that helps me out a lot.
Yeah, now I'm going to not do it because that means you're not watching as much of the video. No, I'm kidding. but they've proven that people will actually watch more of the video because they'll watch that chapter. And that's better than signing off. But obviously, that's a problem if your attention span, because you have to think about, I'm just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. Is it a problem because you got to think about your kids? Because Daddy, I don't talk to you, Daddy. I've got this thing I've made. And you're like, trying to scroll. How are you going to handle that, Justin? What do you think?
I don't know. Well, considering I'm going to be going into education with.
No.
Well, they're going to be concerned with it too.
That's true.
Well, I probably won't be with children. I'll be, with children, only with kids, maybe middle school or high school, but they'll be consumed with it too.
Interesting.
It's just interesting to see how that's going to be. Because when I was in middle school, it wasn't. We didn't have iPhones or whatever, but we didn't have it wasn't nearly as big as it was now. It's
kind of crazy.
It is. And I wonder how long it's going to last. Like, is this just a fad?
This is an extension of our brain, isn't it? It really is. I know Elon Musk is wanting to connect us all to our phones and our brain or something.
Really well.
Sort of.
See, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'm not against it. But
brain, what am I failing? I'm failing here.
But the downside with that is someone can hack you real easily. Like, now no one can hack my brain, but if there's a computer chip in there, it's like literally putting me on every good thing or bad thing about the internet is now in me. So it's like
it's weird, yeah.
I need to talk to y'all about the mark of the beast. I'm telling you, I need to talk about the mark of the beast. I'm telling you, Junior Foreman says, I've lived long enough to go from having a party line telephone. I'll explain that in just a moment, fellas. A party line telephone to holding a phone in my hand that has a camera and screen. And Juan says, glad to hear he was. Going back to another comment. Kilted Adventure says, my average viewers are in their 30s and 40s and 65% overseas. Maybe their attention span is longer. Fingers crossed. Party lines. They're talking about party lines. Now, let me explain a party line. A party line is basically everybody, like you have a phone in a town, right? Yeah, everybody has a phone. But everybody, when you pick up the phone, everybody's on there.
Oh.
Interesting.
And basically, it's weird because it has to do with the way the current works. And in my opinion, I don't know if they thought phones were going to catch on. These people don't need a phone dedicated for just themselves. And they probably didn't at first, but you literally, if you picked up the phone, you could hear all the gossip you needed, and you kind of relied on other people. This is before my time too. Okay. But you relied on other people to put the phone down if you were having the conversation with your mom or your dad or whatever. And everybody in these smaller towns, they were, it's kind of crazy. So when he says party line there, especially in the rural South, party lines went a lot longer than they did in the urban centers of the country. But I still remember phones when nobody had call waiting. Now think about this. You're in 7th grade and you're trying to call your girlfriend. And you call and you get a busy signal. Okay, so there was no, here, I'm going to shoot you a text. I'll leave a message. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll leave a message. Oh, no. you got a busy signal, and it could be there, and you never knew if maybe she was talking to another guy. You never knew.
Yeah.
You never knew. And so you could take the phone off the hook, and they would give you a busy signal.
Wow.
You know, the best that you can do with this is sometimes on Sunday afternoons, I will put this so I can rest before the evening service. I'll put it on
do not disturb,
airplane mode or something.
Yeah.
Or do not disturb airplane mode. That's about the best you can do, because at least then when you turn the phone back on, you get all the messages and stuff like that. But it's still the idea that this can't really, that the addiction is so high there, because you guys are scared. Like, I didn't know that you guys had it that bad as far as, because I really can put it down. You know, because I'm in that age group where I can go, yeah, we're done, and turn it off. Because social media, you know, when social media first hit, Facebook, that was the first thing I was exposed to. Facebook, I know it's old. By the way, guys, young people don't use Facebook
I use
anymore.
Facebook.
Do you still use Facebook?
I'm kind of a geezer, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I had a Facebook account so I can play video games, and I had not.
These young people don't use Facebook anymore a lot.
Like mobile games.
I see. Okay.
So, wow. But when Facebook came out, I went through the addiction moment. And YouTube, I just signed on to YouTube. 2013 is when I first got my name on there, whatever. And I went, I got to find a way to make money at this, because I felt left out of the loop. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to give them this much attention. I resented it. I was angry that they got that much of my time. I was angry that they were playing on this was in 2013 and 14. I felt like they were playing on our emotions as far as getting us into that. And this is before there were documentaries or anything, but I felt myself just going. And sometimes I wasn't even watching. I was just zoning out. And it was like the habit had formed.
Yeah.
And that's why I started a YouTube channel. It was like, if you can't beat them, join them. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily the right attitude, but it was like, I've got to find a way to make some money, as opposed to them having a monopoly on all of my time.
Yeah.
Biggest crisis in the world. What do you think it is? Go.
Oh. Just on the spot like that.
What is the biggest crisis you think we're facing in the world? No wrong answers, man.
This could sound weird, but like the whole technology thing, like, it's not necessarily a crisis. It's just how it's being used. Like, the initial, say, like, social media initially was connecting with people far away, but now we have people posting like them at the beach, all these things they're doing, and with like the way we see it today is like, oh, this person is having a good life, and I'm here doing homework or studying for a final.
That brings up the topic of like depression and like all that.
Exactly.
Because, you know, you see someone's like, oh, their life is so great, and then it's like, oh, mine's so terrible.
Exactly.
So you guys face that sometimes.
Well, some people will post on there and make so it seems like their life is great. They hide behind the screen when their life is really not that great at all. I mean, they're dealing with all these mental illness, which has skyrocketed. Probably, I believe as a result of social media.
Oh yeah.
And that is definitely a crisis. And along with that, like, I think, like, I agree with like the whole technology thing. I think like misinformation is a huge, problem, because at this point you don't know who to trust. You can't trust anyone on the news, on social media. People could, whoever's in charge, whoever has the most money, whoever has the most power, can say whatever they want, and that's what everyone sees, because everyone, billions of people in the world are connected to social media. They all see that.
He has no idea what kind of a channel this is. He just doesn't. If you only knew what he was saying right now to our channel people. Anyway.
You asked the question.
It's good stuff. No, it's great. I'm kidding, of course.
But also with the way technology is now,
Nice.
I could literally be sitting here right now, and my Instagram says I have a 6-pack. I don't. I'm just.
Really?
It's just so easy.
But this whole time I thought you had a 6-pack. I thought you were,
Wow.
Like, I could be sitting here right now, and my Instagram says I'm in like France in front of the Eiffel Tower just because I have a green screen. Like, the way we've advanced with technology makes so much that you probably didn't even think would ever be possible.
And what's next? Where do we go from here? Who knows? That's a scary part.
Well, I did read this article. I don't know if it's trustworthy or not, of Apple designing smart glasses.
Oh my god!
So
wait a minute. Google already tried this. It was a bad failure.
I think Apple is planning on doing it, making it look like normal glasses, because Google's glasses you could tell they just look so robotic. But I think Apple is trying to make
Google
it
really did look like the mark of the beast. It was so cool. It had a little thing here, and it was crazy.
But I think Apple is trying to do it so it actually looks like normal everyday glasses, which is a good thing. But then students, the internet on their eyes, testing, it don't exactly match.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. No. There's a bunch of other stuff too, but
I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was taking a test with those glasses on. Ain't no way I'm failing any class.
No, there's no way. See, because when you cheated back when I was younger, not that I did that. I didn't cheat. But when you did cheat when I was younger, it's hysterical because we had to put thought into it.
Mm-hmm.
We had to do all kinds of things. And now a smartphone, and you're good to go. There's what is being withheld from you if you've got a smartphone? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is being withheld from you. Now, here's the question, because what you guys are saying, I'm not sure that a lot of people here in our demographics tonight and watching on the replay, because as you guys saw tonight, I was showing you analytics. We had more people watch afterwards than you have during. And so watching afterwards, I don't think a lot of the people in here would realize what you guys just said. I don't think they even understand the fact that when you're talking about fake news. But that could mean anything, and it means different things to different people. And politically, it's a mess. I mean, it's crazy. And what fake news is it's different things to different people. I mean, I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
And it's controversial. It's divisive. But what I didn't expect for you to say was that technology. You were worried about the technology. And so I want you all both to expound on that, because I've heard Elon Musk say things about AI. And you guys probably already understand AI better because you're talking about how there's a addiction to the phones. Obviously, the algorithm is getting us to where we go back and there's badges and there's alarms. And if you don't clear this out, you got to sit and stare at it. Most humans love the sense of completion.
Yes,
so if there's a badge or something to wipe
That's how
off,
I am.
we want it to open. My wife is good at going, no. My wife is so good at going, I'm like, baby, so-and-so text. I know. I'm busy.
Wow.
And me, I'm like, that's right. You got to check it. And the only reason why is because I see it.
Yep.
And if I didn't see it, I wouldn't care. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's just Justin. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. But Carolyn is calm and cool and collected. She's like, don't you remember what it was like before smartphones? You didn't get back right away. You couldn't. You didn't know they were trying to call. The phone was busy.
We don't have that luxury. I mean, I don't at least. I mean,
you do. You just have to choose it. In other words, you have to turn the phone off. My mother doesn't care. My mother, she's 65. She just turns the phone off. I'm like, but I live in Virginia now, Mom. And she goes, I've been trying to lose you for 47 years. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't say that. Trying to make sure we catch up here in the comments.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And I think there's quite a few. Marketing, nothing more, nothing less. The biggest crisis in the world is a lack of fathers and a ridiculous definitions of masculinity. I'm sure that's definitely some problems there. You're correct. And we're going through here, making sure I've not missed anything directed at us. Had a smartphone until Mickey's second hand fell off. Okay, Mickey Mouse used to have a watch, guys. It's a big deal. The Mickey watch was a big deal back in the day. Do you hear what I have to explain? Because that's how dated we are. That is how dated we are. Strong's Adventure says, you are way behind. I'm sure I am, but you guys are obviously doing fine without me. So these guys are absolute geniuses, and they're so awesome for coming on here, and because they could get made fun of for this. I would make fun of them for this. Okay. I'm grateful that they're here and that they're talking and sharing these things because they're sharing their heart. There's 50,000 things that they could be doing right now. Instead, they're here to share with us. And so I'm hoping that you're listening to some of the things that they're saying, because what I'm sitting here thinking is like, wow, I really do need to live stream more and get you guys talking more, and not just you, but your peers. And the reason why is because I never thought your age group would be nervous about technology. Our generation was not nervous. We were like, bring it on, lightsabers, spaceships, yeah. But now I'm kind of shocked that to hear that you guys, technology worries you. What is your biggest fear, Justin?
I just don't know what's next. I think like we're developed so much, and it's thinking like, where do we go from here? Like, just the endless possibility is like, it's just crazy to think. I don't know what's next. For me, that's just like where do we go from here? How far do we push the limit before it starts becoming dangerous, like really dangerous? Because it's just, I don't know. What do you think, Obrine?
Definitely with the how far. How far can we go until it's too much? Like, my dad always does this thing where he's like always pushing me more into technology. It's like, you can do this, you can do that. I'm like, but we're at this point. What else is needed in life? What more can you do with technology?
Exactly, yeah.
You obviously need glasses, Facebook glasses. That.
I literally have the entire on my wrist.
Yeah.
I have the entire internet on my wrist.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah.
so it's
insane.
It's like
there's more like processing power or whatever, and your computer and your phone than there was when they got to the moon, like the first moon landing.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Exactly. So
that's just ridiculous.
Wow.
You wake up in the morning, you get up, you turn on the news. What device do you use, and what news are you watching?
Unlike most people, because most people use TVs. My news, so the way my wake up routine is set up is I have an Alexa. That is true. I have an Alexa. So the alarm goes off around like 7 or 8 or whenever I need to get up, because I set the alarm literally every night. And once the alarm goes off for like a minute, it immediately reads the news.
Really?
Immediately. If I'm at home and I need to go somewhere, it also does weather.
Wow.
And whatever I need. Reads my notifications, whatever, everything just like that. And then the part that usually gets people is I also have a smart plug, which is connected to my coffee maker. So while all this is happening, yes,
excellent. I love it.
I didn't know this, Obrine.
I love technology. I'm loving
it's
this.
Good to it too. Yeah, definitely.
While all this is happening, it's also making my coffee at the same time. So I'm just. What more do I need?
That's it. That's the life of it. That's it.
What about you? What news do you watch?
I just go on my phone, like Facebook, scroll through whatever.
So you get your news from Facebook?
Usually Facebook or I used to mainly Facebook or
so
Instagram.
Facebook doesn't actually have a news source. So what are you watching? Like what? Like who? Like what's your? Or are you just looking for what other people say?
A lot of it is what other people say. Like I have Fox News is on there for me because that's like I used to watch a lot of Fox News. Like it was just on my TV like nonstop, but I couldn't do it because it was too negative for me. But I mainly just have that on there. So if there's any like big headlines, it'll be on there. But most of the news I get is just from scrolling on Facebook, or I'll get like a notification on my phone if there's something like really important, or I listen to some podcasts like Ben Shapiro or whatever, and they like go over like news from that too.
So most of your news is editorial.
Yeah.
Editorial.
Yeah.
The same with you?
Yep.
So you're watching mostly opinions about the news as opposed
exactly.
to,
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
which is very different than my generation and some of the other generations represented here in the comment section. Is that most of us got our news? Well, I mean, honestly, if you grew up in my generation or before, what we essentially did is you got around the television at what time? 6 o'clock, 6:30, and you watched. For some of you, Walter Cronkite. My generation, it was Tom Brokaw, and you had 30 minutes of news. They're laughing at me now, but you had 30 minutes of news, and it was it wasn't completely objective. It wasn't completely objective, but at least you felt good about the facts. You felt like you had facts.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the news sources now, they're 24 hours. Do you ever feel bombarded? And I'll take this back to you guys. Do you ever feel? And I'll start with Obrine this time and go back. Do you ever feel bombarded with the headlines on the news?
I definitely feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm no longer like really looking for the news, like because a lot of my news is usually tech news.
Interesting.
It's like because I've gotten to a point where all the political news, weather, all of that is just too much.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what's Elon Musk doing today? What's Google, Apple?
So you got news fatigue. I mean, just tired of the junk. I think a lot of America, we're just tired of it. It's like it's not that we don't want to be informed. We are overly informed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like most of the stuff I see is like not news anymore. It's just like, okay, it's like,
It's like
It's not important.
because
It's so common.
I get tickled when people put down Marvel comics and Marvel movies. We'll say Marvel movies. I get tickled when they put down, you watch those silly kid shows. And I'm like, well, I think sometimes, whether it's MSNBC, Fox, or whoever, I think Elemental P, whatever, I think some of those news programs, they are nothing. That's what they are, essentially, is they're a soap opera.
Yeah.
And they have their villains and their heroes, and depending on which channel is going to show you which hero that you want to pick from. And so that's so I'll tell you what I think needs to happen. I think Marvel needs to team up with the news places. And think about it. You could have, if you like some villains, they might not be villains
Genius.
to you. Am I right?
Genius.
And then so you watch, like, I don't know, CNN or whoever, and you can watch the bad guys, or whoever. Who's the bad guys in Marvel? Like a group, the Thunderbolts. They're bad guys.
Yeah, right.
The Thunderbolts. Hey, this CNN. They're not evil. They're our heroes. And that would be cool for Marvel to play on that, but they're not going to. But it would be cool if they did.
They heard it now. They're going to.
Well, they should.
This video right
They should. Just give me a piece of the pie. Dude, you guys are growing up in a very difficult time. It's a wonderful time as far as innovation and technology and all these great things, but it's also a very difficult and controversial time. Do you see, when people talk about the old days, this sort of be good? We'll start with Justin this time. Started you last time. I think we started with, I can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Question. When somebody talks about the old days, when were the old days? There's no wrong answer.
First, pops in mind is like the 60s, maybe 60s, 70s.
All right.
Like probably around the time my parents were born, I guess.
All right. Okay.
I don't know, but then they do the things and it's like the 90s was 30 years ago, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
2000s, like Toy Story came out 20 years ago, and it's like, what? So I think maybe the 60s, 70s. Yeah.
When were the old days for you,
Obrine?
I also think about that time, 50s, 60s ish, because most of the people whom I hear talk about the old days is people who are around that age group. So it's like
whenever my grandparents were my age, I would maybe that, yeah. Whenever,
exactly. It's either that or black and white TV.
Black and white TV.
Yeah.
Which wasn't that long.
Which wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes this might sound real stupid, but for some reason, all the really old 1800 videos, all the ones I've seen is all in black and white. So my brain is was the world black and white? I know the world wasn't black and
everybody
white.
was frozen, and they all had a bad look on their face. And some of them were blurry. They were just blurry.
That's how they were, yeah.
Because that's the reference I have in my brain.
True.
So it's
true.
I'm was the world actually this depressed?
When I was younger, I used to think that too.
So I'm just it doesn't make any sense.
The Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
Black and white, and then the world became color.
Exactly. Yeah. But deep down, I know it's literally impossible for it to be black and white outside. So it's it doesn't make sense. Well, that too. That's a story for another.
Plus you're colorblind. Somebody finds your cell phone, Obrine. They find your cell phone because you have been sent to another time in a time portal to be discussed later. But that's not the important thing now. The important thing now is they have your phone. What can they learn about you from looking at your phone?
I'm very much of a bad kid.
Me
If
too.
you go on my Instagram, there's music stuff, music memes, band memes.
How is how is that a bad kid?
No, band.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're a good kid. What are you talking about? You guys are geeks. Both of you are geeks.
Yeah, we're band geeks.
You're
Yeah.
band geeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at my music choices, it's all band music, instrumental. I'm it's literally my entire phone is just screams out band kid.
All right. Justin, what about you?
I honestly like the same thing, but also the political sidings I'm on, who I agree with, who I disagree with, my family, because I have pictures on my phone, who I think is important to me, what I think is important, but also on social media, what I put out there, what I agree with. If they were to go on my Facebook, see what I like, or go to my Instagram, see who I follow. I think it's interesting. If we were to think about that, people in 100 years or so, they recover these and they're able to open up your phone or whatever. we have documentation like George Washington and all that stuff. We got those primary sources, but like, will the phones be the next like technology be our primary source to look at that?
Sure.
You know, it's just interesting.
Because you've got, I mean, think about how many people have their cell phone recording, live streaming, or whatever at different events around the world. We have so many different angles. I hate to bring it up, but September 11th.
Yeah.
I mean, and these weren't even out yet.
Yeah.
And we still have so many different recordings
Mm-hmm.
going, because so many people have recorders. You know, so now if there is a Bigfoot sighting, you know, bring it full circle, you're going to have people on the job, you know, actually to in 4K at 60 FPS, right? I mean, that's you're going to have great video of that. So for both of you, you know, they're going to find this phone. They're going to find interesting details about your life that kind of expose something that's personal, private, but also some inner thoughts about what's going on in the world, because obviously the world affects you a lot. You post a lot on Facebook. Justin, you post a great deal. You express yourself a lot politically. Does that get you in trouble with social media?
It has in the past. Yeah, I've tried not to do that as much as I used to do it, but
why does it get you in trouble? With your peers, or what's?
Well, yeah, I guess with my peers and, you know, employers or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's whoever.
I never thought. See, I ever think that way. Is that what you post? It's there forever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is. It is. Even if you delete it, that's another scary thing too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but
everything's written in ink on the internet.
Literally, yeah, you can't erase it.
Like, I have some projects online from like middle school. When you look up my name online, it's like the third thing. It's like Obrine, Prezi. I'm like, this was from middle school.
So you guys live with the haunting fact that, and we all do now, but when you get almost 50 like I am, you don't care. You know, it's like, you know, you get to a point where you're like, look, my record is my record, but I've done some stupid things in my time. Dumb. Some people would argue that this channel is dumb. The point is, I've done some stupid, dumb things in my life that I'm glad. I've asked for forgiveness. It's under the blood of Christ. Praise God. But nobody remembers it. It's over. But some of those things would have been viral. Okay. Some of the practical jokes I pulled. Toilet bowls on top of dorm rooms. I mean, I'm talking about bad stuff. But they, you know, they would not that y'all should ever do that kind of stuff.
You're already something like,
Exactly.
oh my God.
To all the college kids.
But some of those things, yeah, right, exactly. But because it's dumb, and some of those things were dangerous. I could tell stories, but they're forgiven. They're over. It's in the past. And with this generation and the generations to follow, what is it like knowing it's all written in ink?
It's terrifying.
It's forever.
Yeah. Like you see people now, they tweet about something, you know, 10 years ago that they were just joking about or whatever, you know, whoever they thought, you know, they could have changed, you know, they're a completely different person, but someone sees that and they're like, you know, cancel whatever, cancel culture or whatever. But you're never safe now. Everything is on there. Even if you delete it, what you put out there is permanent. And that's really scary. That's, you know, especially if you're, you know, that's just.
Especially with applying for jobs, because
even if you put, well, that is scary too, because you know even if you get rid of the stuff, it's out there. They'll find a way to, you know, find your information. You know, so
let me get this straight, because we've got some people in the chat room even now that are saying all the old conspiracy theories were right, because some of the earliest conspiracy theories, I'm serious, some of the earliest conspiracy theories talked about social tracking, social credit scores. That what you post, you know, except we weren't calling it posting. You know, these are old school science fiction, old school conspiracy. That it would haunt you forever. You had to be very careful about everything you said, because Big Brother is watching you.
The book. What was it, 1984?
1984. So, do you think that's here now, Brain? Do you think it's here?
I think definitely, very much, definitely. We're at that point, which kind of makes me wonder, like is today's conspiracy theories going to be a real thing, say, 50 years, 100 years from today? So I'm like...
I don't know what today's conspiracy theories are, because I'm still on yesterday's conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Bigfoot, aliens.
You know, and so the CIA did have a dump this year on UFO sightings.
Yeah, they did. Boring.
Like totally boring. It was a total bore. As I expected, a big nothing burger. But it got ratings up, and it was a big, what do you call it? It's just a big nothing burger and a distraction. And it's really all it was. So you wake up in the morning, same morning that you've lost your phone, maybe. I don't know. You turn on the news, What would make you in the morning? We'll start with Justin. We'll start with you. What would make you wake up in the morning and go, now that is good news? What would that be? That is great. And I can't believe this.
Jesus coming back.
Oh,
Well, okay,
But
that's good.
I think if they put it on the news, I would know before I saw it on the news.
I would hope so.
I would really hope so.
Depending on your theological stance, I would hope so. Yeah.
I might even not be here for that.
You might even not be here for that matter. Absolutely. What about you?
I don't know. I really don't know what I would consider good news.
All right. You need to think about that one.
Oh, yeah.
All right. This one's easier to answer, but
I
it's
bring it
negative.
to free base. That's what it is.
What's that?
I bring it to free, bring
Guitar
A
pedals.
good guitar pedals. There you go. All right. This one is negative, but you had to have seen it coming. What would be bad news?
Bad news would definitely be like the death of someone like that I actually look up to, at least in.
That's inevitable, though.
Well, here's the thing. I
yeah.
would say 90% of our news is bad news.
That is true.
All that's what gets people watching. If it's all good news, then it's like okay. But bad news is what gets the ratings. That's what gets people watching. So
And both of you are saying you're not watching as much news. I mean, that's what both of you are saying.
they were saying in the comment section, you have to turn it off because it's just so negative. That's what it was for me when I had TV on all the time and it's negative, and it's like I cannot keep hearing this in my all the time, and my brain's going to be negative. I'm going to be negative,
Because I think about it from this way. I went to college the first time. As a traditional college kid, left home, went to Union, and I didn't watch the news. Why? Old people watch the news. And now you watch the news to make sure meteors aren't hitting your car or something. Or the zombie apocalypse hasn't gone to a new phase or whatever. Whatever, because you almost have to watch the news. They make you feel that way anyway. And so it's definitely a different time. Guys, I am so grateful that you were here. You were so awesome. And we got to do this again soon.
Oh,
This is great. And I've learned a great deal. Hi, it's me again. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Different kind of Vlogmas. It was different. I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We've got a lot of comments in here. And guys, it was a different kind of Vlogmas, so I didn't get to all of them. But we will be here. Carolyn's not here to kind of help us out, but that's all right.
It's all right.
We will be back, or I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, 9-ish, give or take. And we will get started all over again. Brain, say goodbye. Adios. Justin, say goodbye. Adios. We love you guys very much, and I will see you guys in about 24 hours. Peace.
That's